Michelin Raceway, and we're on race B. And today we're going to be using the 2017 911 RSR Porsche, which is a lot of fun. It's probably my most favorite car. I'm the most familiar with it. So I figured I had the opportunity to use it here. So why not? Let's take it. And we're starting in a P10, and we've got a rolling start for today's race. Now, I'm not very familiar with the Road Atlanta track. I don't recall having raced it much at all. So doing this online is a new experience for me. So bear with me as I talk you through how I kind of negate the track and negate the cars on the track. We're in for 6 laps of fun. And we're off. Snipes right in front of us. We take the first corner. Now we pretty much pin that to the ground. There's no need to lift and coast through. They absolutely hammer it at the start. Again, we're starting off in a lower gear than what we might be at the end of the lap. Oof, right away, a bit of contact in front of us. 8 and 9 battling it out. We'll just stay hot on their heels for now. Don't want to get too close. Hard on the brakes here to drop down to second gear. Now, with that corner, you can effectively, once you drop into second gear, lift and coast and let yourself pull through the corner without any power, and as soon as you pass that apex you can hammer on that acceleration, and you can do that with most corners around this track, like the one we just passed. Pushing and then down into second again getting close to that apex, pull it all the way around and absolutely back on the power. Whee! Look out, right in front of us we had some ghosting. Close to contact. And already we're up in the 6th place. Whoop, we snipes right alongside us. How's this one gonna go? Hard on the brakes. Oh. And we're around. Oh, we're a couple of cars off. We can capitalize on that. Let's go. Push up the hill. And down we go. And this particular hill, you've got to take it with a bit of faith. Once you just got to line yourself up on the right angle and absolutely just pin your foot to the floor. And just trust and have a bit of faith that you're going to make it out the other side. But that's a big jump. First lap, opening lap, where all the chaos as we saw begins, we were able to absolutely get our way up to 4th position. Not a bad first innings. Now for this particular corner, you want to be hard on your outside, get down to second in that braking zone and just let go and carry your speed through. Again, passing that apex and just applying the power. Now this one you've got to drop. I found it's better to drop it down to first, just because I've tried taking it in second a couple of times and it just didn't feel right. It felt like the car would slide and oversteer a little bit more to the left into the exterior of the track, which kind of washed out a bit of my time. So I figure get it down to first and just pull it around that corner, and once you get that wheel a little more towards straight, then you can start applying your power. Big push through there as we're chasing 3rd place. And it says here, drop it down to 3rd, but basically just before you get to the apex of that corner, you can slap it back up to 4th, so you've just got this pull of power all the way up the top of the hill, but then you've got to immediately jump on the brakes again, down into 2nd to take that tighter little corner through there. But again, a lot of this track is just getting into the right gear, coast, pull it through the apex of the corner on the power and just drive it out. And as you're driving out, you want to get the straightest line possible, so aim for the outside of the track for when you get your friction back, and then look to turn back in. Oh, 3rd place is getting away from us. Having a superb race right out in front of us. Can't be mad about that. Dropping it down here into Second, pull it around the corner here on the power. You don't want to push too far out to the left-hand side of the track or get on the power too early, because the car will spin. Remember, the Canva is going up the hill. So if you're pushing and your wheel's still locked, you're going to slide the car around, which is something you don't really want to do. Oh, that was a bit sloppy coming through that corner. Washed off a little bit too much speed. And onto the brakes. Slide over and back on the power and push up the hill again. And this is absolutely a beautiful straight. It's the best place to get your overtaking done, especially if you're carrying a slipstream. But really, you're only going to get a slipstream, or a slipstream is going to be created if you're under a second or in that second range from the car in front. In this case, we're not. We're way outside the 1 second mark, and that's just not going to work for us. One of the beautiful things I found about this track, though, is it kind of gives you the racing line without having the racing line on. What you can see is the darker patches of the track, which is actually, you know, a mimic of the rubber being laid down from the tires of the cars running around it. So you can see the optimal racing line, and it's the darker section of the track. So if you kind of use that as your guide as you're going through here, that's kind of going to give you the optimal line through the whole track, and it's persistent throughout the whole thing. So if you are using the racing line and you think, oh, I might want to try and experiment with not having it on, this is one of the better tracks to do it on, because you've got a little bit of a racing line built into the track itself, which you can always return to as a guide, and, you know, go a little bit wide in some areas, come to a little bit of the inside in some areas, and just experiment and play with it, but get that confidence without having the racing line turned on. It's a great track for it. So if you're running the racing line and you're thinking about getting rid of it, this is the track to try it out on. Absolutely. And you can see there how that's gotten darker towards the left-hand side of the track, and we can see the curvature moving towards the finish. You can absolutely hold your foot to the floor as you come down that hill and sweep to the right. You don't need to lift at all, just hold it down. Last time we're going to take that corner. Hopefully we won't bin it. And here on the brakes, go to the right, to the left, and push up the hill. The beautiful thing about it is we survived the chaos of lap 1, and it's turned out to a really good result for us. And sometimes that's all it takes. Just be mindful of your surroundings, never try to run any other car off the road, and just run your own race and look what happens. Not a bad result at all. Provided we can make it to the end of the race, of course. Here we go, the final stint home. And there we have it, crossed the finish line. Cannot complain about that. Started in P10, ended on a P4. 6 laps of absolute madness. And I've got to admit, this whole race, I was tense the whole way through. I was absolutely gripping the wheel as hard as I could, and I was making micro adjustments through the corners as we went, feeling the slippage of the car when I sometimes went a little bit too wide. But overall, it's a very, very fun course. It's very fast. Again, that kind of natural built-in racing line to the actual track kind of helped give me a good sense of direction and guidance, just to make sure I was positioning the car in the right spot. So again, if you're thinking about it or you're not sure and you might want to give it a go, highly recommend giving it a go at Road Atlanta. Road, my god. Will I ever get through a video without making a speech mistake? Time will tell. It certainly wasn't this video. But thank you so much for watching. I hope my insights helped in terms of just understanding the track, getting around the track, and seeing what you can do when there's a whole lot of traffic in front of you. Hey, and we got a clean race bonus as well. I'll catch you in the next video. Be safe until then, and remember to live and let drive.